HCTV Sports is supported by the Hastings Public House. Memories made local.
First goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin. Oh, was that beautiful?
Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
Simley! Touchdown Raiders!
Welcome to tonight's broadcast live from the Hastings Middle School pool. We have the Hastings Raiders boys swim and dive team versus the Simley Spartans swim and dive team. We are slightly delayed in starting tonight. You've only missed 2 events as we had a weather-related issue, and we are quickly back online and excited you are joining us. We are on event 3. This is the 200-yard freestyle JV heat. There are swimmers in, it looks like lanes 2, 3, and 4. I apologize, there's one in lane 5 as well. And they are all Simley swimmers. So tonight, as you're joining us and you're wondering what lane is what, lane 1 is at the top of your screen, lane 6 is at the bottom of your screen. Hastings will swim, varsity heats, Hastings will swim in 1, 3, and 5, and Simley will swim in lanes 2, 4, and 6 throughout the night for lots of events, but this one only has swimmers from Simley, JV swimmers in lanes 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sean Larson in lane 2, Jacob Hanel in lane 3, Caden Carreri in lane 4, and Eli Wells in lane 5. 200 freestyle JV. This is 8 lengths of freestyle. The pool is 25 yards. So if you do the math, they swim 8 lengths for a 200. And it looks like in lane 4, that's Caden Career. I apologize. I am gonna make a mess of some of these names. But he is off to a strong start ahead of the rest of his teammates. Again, if you're just joining us as we're getting started, this is the Simley Spartans. Captains for the Spartans are Hunter Collins, Ethan Gregg, and John Tabor. And for the Raiders, captains are Adam Dewar and Tyler Wood. Coaches for the Raiders, Katie McElphin, Brianna Arness, Sunshine Lewis, Dylan Anderson, and Lauren LeMay. And the coaches from the Spartans, it is a long list, and I'm going to do my best. Lynn Newton, Evan Cook, Lisa Lindquist, Robert Burns, Andres Lazinski, Lazinski, Katie Whittle, John Toomey, Joey Waska, Tracy Smolinski, Gabe Euksted, Jim Lazinski, Melanie O'Neill Cook, Albert Manzor, Joseph Manzor, and Tavor Cardenas. This is the JV 200 freestyle. A great chance for some probably young and new swimmers to swim a medium distance, I would say. In the world of swimming, the 200 freestyle is a long sprint. And Caden in lane 4 continues to lead. As I was reading all the coaches and teams and captains, I wasn't counting, but he has got to be getting close. Yep, timers are up, so you can see each lane has 2 timers. So they stop a watch and they stop a kind of one stopwatch and one watch connected to the pad on the wall. And the pad on the wall is electric timing so that when the swimmer touches the wall, the time stops and it takes a record of that time. So there are multiple ways that times are taken in a swim meet. On a cold night, it is very warm inside the Hastings Middle School pool. It feels slightly like a sauna. The walls are a little damp. The floor is a little slippery. It's kind of nice to be in the tropics for the night. It looks like Sean Larson and Eli Wells finishing up in lanes 2 and 5. And Jacob Hennell in lane 3 as well is going to make his way to the wall. And we will get ready for the varsity 200-yard freestyle. We'll have a full pool with 6 swimmers. Garrett Watterson will be in lane 1.
200-yard freestyle, this is our varsity.
Shyla Smolinski will be in lane 2. Tristan Herbst from Hastings will be in lane 3. John Tabor from Simley will be in lane 4. Taylor Schmaltz, Hastings, lane 5. And Glenn Rubendahl, lane 6 from Simley. The announcer is announcing the swimmers here as coaches are given a few last pointers. I don't think I said it at the beginning. My name is Julie Urban, and I am glad to be here tonight helping bring some commentary and some, I guess that's what it is, commentary on the swim meet tonight. So we'll be quiet for the start. This is a heated rivalry in the Metro East Conference. St. Thomas has been the longtime super team that kind of notoriously won year after year after year. And Simley and Hastings have kind of battled it out for second and third. So I know the swimmers go into tonight excited about the meet. So with 50 down, it looks like Taylor Schmaltz in lane 5 is slightly lead over his teammate Tristan Herbst in lane 3, followed by John Tabor in lane 4. Taylor is a junior and Tristan is a freshman, followed by John Tabor in lane 4 from Simley, who is a senior. Garrett Watterson in lane 1 from Hastings is a junior as well. Shyla Smolinski from Simley in lane 2 is a junior. And senior Glenn Rubendahl from Simley in lane 6. Tristan in lane 3 has pulled ahead a little bit, not a lot. Taylor Schmaltz is very close behind in lane 5, and John Tabor cruising along behind them. It will be a race for 1, 2, and 3. We'll see who has legs at the end of this race. This is the final 25. Tristan turned first, then it was John Tabor, followed by Taylor Schmaltz. This is quite a race. There's a lot of cheering. It's going to be fingertips. And Tristan does pull off first place for Hastings in lane 3, followed by John Tabor for Simley in lane 4 and Taylor Schmaltz lane 5. Another close race up in lanes 1 and 2. It looks like Glenn Rubendahl in lane 6 was 4th, followed by his teammate in lane 2, Smolinski and Garrett just a second behind in lane 1. We missed the first event, the JV, or the first two events, the JV and the varsity 200-yard medley relay. In the first, the JV heat of the 200 medley relay was 3 teams from Simley, and the winning team was in lane 4. It was Carter Bedell, Eric Doss, Jackson Wanick, and Elliot Tabor. And in the varsity relay, it Simley won, followed by Hastings. Both Hastings, 2 Hastings teams. That was a fun race to watch. And now we have the 200 IM, the JV heat of the 200 IM. Again, it is 3 Simley swimmers. Jared Padong, Douglas Johnson. Jared is lane 3, in 4 Douglas Johnson, and in lane 5 Brian Madrid Pina. So the 200 IM is 2 lengths of each of the 4 strokes. So of 50 of each of the 4 strokes: butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle. So they're finishing up their butterfly, and we'll touch the wall and flip on their back for the backstroke. Jared in lane 3 has quite a lead on his teammates. The 200 IM is one of my favorite races for lots of reasons, but you know, I like the variety of 4 strokes. It is definitely a test of a swimmer who can swim all 4 strokes and swim them fast. But it's the variety. It's fun. But it's also a very technically packed event, because there are very specific rules in swimming on how you can touch the wall and when you can take your last stroke, and how many hands you need to touch the wall with, and when you can flip over, and all that. So it's a lot for the swimmers to remember. Years of practice, they get it. But at first, when kids are, you know, and swimmers are learning an IM, it can kind of be an ugly scene of disqualifications if they do not 2-hand touch, or they flip over too soon. The breaststroke, 50 they are on right now, and then the freestyle. So Jared Padong in lane, excuse me, in lane 3. Simley is finishing up his race with his freestyle, followed by his teammates Douglas Johnson and Brian Madrid Pina. Simley has a much larger team in numbers. I don't know how many they are, but I know Hastings only has 15 swimmers, I think, 15 or 16. So Hastings might not have very many JV swimmers. As most of their swimmers will swim in the varsity heats. But it's great to have a JV heat when you have lots of swimmers like Simley, so all the swimmers can get a chance. So next we will have the varsity 200 IM, a full pool of swimmers in each of the 6 lanes. Again, if you're just tuning in and you're wondering, lane 1 is at the top of your screen, lane 6 is at the bottom. Hastings in yellow caps, most of the time in yellow caps, will be in lanes 1, 3, and 5, and Simley, often in the blue cap, are in lanes 2, 4, and 6. Looks like the officials are conferring at the table before they get this event started.
This is our 200-yard IM varsity heat for Simley in lane 2, Vincent Evangelista. Lane number 4 for Simley.
The announcer is announcing as I'm looking at my notes. I'm totally impressed as the Hastings swimmers are 8th graders and a 7th grader. So we have Sammy Green in lane 1 for Hastings, Vincent Evangelista from Simley in lane 2, Thomas Foss from Hastings in lane 3, Christian Jack from Simley in lane 4, James Jensen in lane 5 from Hastings, and Lucas McGonigal in lane 6 for Simley. They might be young, but I've watched them all swim, and they are fantastic swimmers. So again, the order for the IM is butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle. On the butterfly leg, it's pretty darn close. It looks like Lucas McGonigal from Simley touched the wall first there in lane 6, followed by his teammate in lane 4, that's Christian Jack. Two-hand touch on the wall, and they'll push off underwater, flip on their backs. IM swimmers will tell you that there's one of the strokes they love, one of the strokes that's not their favorite. Thomas Foss, I know, likes the backstroke. And he is gaining ground on his Simley competitor next to him. And here comes the breaststroke, which is often known as the equalizer. You either love it or you hate it. Excuse my voice. And Christian Jack from Simley in lane 4 continues just to pull ahead a little bit of Thomas Foss from Hastings in lane 3, and the other Simley swimmers, that is Vincent Evangelista in lane 2, and Lucas McGonigal in lane 6. James Jensen is right there in lane 5, and Sammy Green's doing a great job in lane 1. Here we go on the freestyle. Let's see who have some legs left to kick. This is a tough and a demanding race. Christian Jack in lane 4 for Simley, swimming a nice race, and Thomas Foss is chasing him down. Christian will touch first, followed by Thomas, followed by Vincent Evangelista, and Lucas McGonigal in lane 6, James Jensen and Sammy Green finishing up in lane 1. That is a promising young group of young swimmers from Hastings, that is for sure. And next we will have the shortest event of the night. The shortest and fastest, that's how it's supposed to work. The 50-yard freestyle. We have 2 heats of JV, followed by a varsity heat.
Number 7, this is the boys' 50-yard freestyle.
So 50-yard freestyle, down and back as fast as you can. That is the goal. Right now I'm looking up at the pool records. The boys' pool record is held by Andrew Trepanier from Lakeville North with a 21:26. And the Raiders boys team record is held by Elliot Wilcox with a 21:11. Those are some fast swims. So this is our first JV heat. It's 6 swimmers from Simley: Elijah Syed, Elliot Tabor, Mason Wickner, Christian Delago, Eric Doss, and Miles Anderson. Looks like it's a close race between lanes 2 and 4. That's Elliot Tabor and, lane 5, Eric Doss, followed by Miles Anderson in lane 6. This is going to be, either way, any way you look at it, it's going to be a Simley sweep, as are all Simley swimmers. It looks like Eric Doss in lane 5 touched first with a time of 33.66. And we'll move on to the next heat of JV, 2 heats of JV.
Heat 2 of our 53 JV.
We do have 2 Hastings swimmers.
Number 1 for Simley, Jackson Wannick.
In lane 1, Jackson Wannick from Simley. In lane 2 for Simley, Carter Klein. In lane 3 for Hastings is Liam Adele.
Easton Callahan.
In lane 4 for Simley is Colin
Hastings Raiders in lane number
Momper, excuse me. And from Hastings in lane 5 is Alex Culp. And in lane 6 from Simley is Easton Callahan. It's a battle between lanes 2 and 3. It looks like Liam Adele from Hastings is going to win this heat, followed by Simley swimmers on either side of him, Carter Klein and Colin Momper. And Liam in lane 3, his time was a 26:24. Nice job, swimmers. And next we will have the varsity freestyle, 50 free.
Event number 8, this is our 50-yard freestyle.
Should be a fast one.
We have 1 heat.
I want to thank our sponsor for the night, Hastings Public House, Memories Made Local. We are grateful for them. Go warm up tonight or some night soon on a great dinner. Hastings Public House. Thank you.
In lane 3 for the Hastings Raiders, Oliver Gergen.
So we have 6 swimmers, 3 Hastings, 3 Simley's swimmers. Lane 1 from Hastings is Kenrick O'Donnell. In lane 2 from Simley, William Foster. In lane 3 for Hastings is Oliver Gergen. Lane 4 for Simley is Ethan Gregg. Lane 5 from Hastings, Tyler Wood. And in lane 6 from Simley, Nate Barkley. Oliver Gergen hit the wall first, closely followed by Ethan Gregg. I did not see Oliver take a breath until he got to the wall, which is a great sign. And he does hit the wall in a 23:57. Nice swim. Followed by Ethan Gregg with a 24:13. Nicely done. And that will conclude our first section of the swim meet. We will have diving next. And in order to get ready for diving, we will take a short break as the pool gets ready, the divers warm up, and we'll be back to have coverage of diving.
All right, folks,
There is not a score up yet on the board.
great time to come down and buy your duck. We're just about the event that will occur after diving. Ducks are $1, and tonight's gift card is to Applebee's.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We are back for the diving section of our swim meet. If you're just joining us, this is the Hastings Raiders boys swim and dive meet versus the Simley Spartans. And it looks like we have 6 divers tonight. Maybe not every one of them swimming, or excuse me, diving in all 6 rounds. So we start.
Back dive, straight position, 1.7.
This is Alex Schlesser. He is an exhibition diver, which probably means he's in one of his first seasons of diving. That was a dive 201A, a back dive in the straight position. Scores are 2.5, 3.5, and 3.
2 1/2, 3 1/2, 3.
Next for Simley is Fernando Madrid Pina.
1.7.
We'll do the same dive, a back dive in the straight position. Four and a half, and 4.5 for Fernando. Thomas Foss from Hastings is next. He will do the same dive. A 201A. Degree of difficulty is a 1.7. And yes, most divers are also swimmers. So Thomas is, I said his name a couple times in swimming events, and now here he is diving. And 5 for Thomas. Carter Klein, Simley Spartans, same dive. 201A, 1.7 degree of difficulty, back dive. Must be a great first round warm-up dive. And 5. Charlie Jensen is our next diver from Hastings. He is doing the same dive, but in the pike position. So it is dive 201B. Six and a half, 5.5, and 5.5 are the scores for Charlie.
Up next is
Marios.
201A, back dive, straight position, 1.7.
Is from Simley. He is doing the 201A dive, the back dive in the straight position. And 5 for Marius.
Leads us to round 2.
We'll start round 2 with Alec, Simley diver, forward dive in the tuck position, a 1.2 degree of difficulty. And scores for Alec, 4, 3.5, 3.5.
3 1/2,
Fernando for Simley is next. He is doing the back 1.5 somersault in the tuck position.
2.0.
So spoiler alert, the next divers are all doing, in this round, are all doing the same dive, 203C. Degree of difficulty is 2.0. It's a back 1.5 somersault in the tuck position. So in order for a diver to land head first in the water, you have to add a half of a somersault. So if you just did one somersault, you'd land feet first. So you have to do a 1.5 or a 2.5 or a 3.5.
Up next is Thomas.
To be honest, I don't know how many somersaults. The most somersaulted dive on a, this is a 1 meter diving board, meaning 1 meter off the ground, off the pool deck. So I don't know how high you have to go to do, a 3.5. I should just ask Coach Brianna. She could fill me in on all the details of diving. Brianna Arness is the coach for Hastings, longtime coach. Scores for Thomas, 5, 4.5, and 5.
Up next is Carter, 203C.
Carter Klein is next from Simley, the same dive.
2.0.
Scores for Carter, 4, 4, and 4.5.
4 and 1.5.
I'm sorry, I guess the first score was a 4.5.
3C, back 1.5 somersault, tuck
Same dive, Charlie Jensen from Hastings. Divers each adjust the board using that wheel. Kind of some do it with their hands, some do it with their foot as they're on the board. Charlie scores 6, 5.5, and 5. And Marius will do the same dive, the last diver of round 2.
1.5 somersault, tuck position, 2.0.
Divers adjust the board for the official term, the right bounciness. That's not really an official word, I'm sure. Of the board to their liking and personal preference. Some of it might be about the dive they are choosing to do or their level of skill. And scores for Marius are 5.5, 5, and 5. And we will move on to round 3. Alec from Simley is doing an inward dive in the tuck position. It's nice he's getting a little coaching and help from an older diver. It's always nice when you're young and new to have someone to help and look up to. Nicely done by Alec. Scores 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5. That's a scary dive. An inward.
Reverse 1 somersault, tuck position, 1.6.
This is Fernando doing a reverse 1 somersault tuck position. Degree of difficulty is a 1.6 and it's dive 302C. Scores for Fernando, 4.5, 5, and 4.
4. Up next is Thomas.
Thomas Foss from Hastings is next. He is doing a forward 2 somersaults in the tuck position.
2.2.
So if we remember, we would have to add a half to land head first. So he will be going into the water feet first, following 2 somersaults. Six, 5.5, and 4.
4. Up next is Carter, 303C.
Carter is the next diver from Simley. He's doing a reverse 1.5 somersault in the tuck position. That's dive 303C with a degree of difficulty of 2.1. Five, 6, and 4.5.
4 1/2.
Charlie Jensen from Hastings is the next diver. He's doing dive 5231D.
1 1/2 somersault.
It is a back 1.5 somersaults with a half twist in the free position. Five, 4.5, and 5.
Finishing up round 3 is Marios. 303.
Round 3, our final diver is Marius from Simley. He is doing dive 303C, reverse 1.5 somersault in the tuck position.
Six, 5 1/2. Leading off round 4 is Alec.
We will have round 4 of diving is next. Alec is starting again with from Simley, and he will do a forward 1.5 somersault in the tuck position. Three and a half, 4.5, and 3.5.
Up next is Fernando, dive 5122D. Forward 1 somersault, 1 twist, free position 1.9. Three and 1/2.
That was Fernando. That was the forward 1 somersault with 1 twist in the free position.
1.5.
And this is Thomas from the Raiders doing an inward dive in the pike position.
Up next is Carter.
5 1/2, 5 and 5 are the scores for Thomas. And next up is Carter from Simley. He's doing an inward 1.5 somersault in the tuck position.
Dive 403C. Inward 1 1/2 somersault. Tuck position 2.2.
Sometimes the divers need a reminder of what dive they're doing next. And the announcer was just re-announcing the dive. 6, and 5 are the scores for.
104C, forward 2 somersault.
That was for Carter. Charlie Jensen from Hastings is next. He's doing a forward 2 somersaults, tuck position. Five, and 4.5 are the scores for Charlie. Final diver in round 4 is Marius. He's doing an inward 1.5 somersault in the tuck position.
Tuck position 2.2.
Every dive is given a degree of difficulty. This one is a 2.2. That does weigh on the score that the judges score the dive, so that it's calculated into that score is the degree of difficulty. 6, and 5.5 are the scores for Marius. So round 5, we're going to actually start with Fernando. We'll have 5 divers in the final 2 rounds. This is Fernando from Simley doing an inward 1.5 somersault in the tuck position. This is the dive that his teammate just completed. Nicely done with a 5, 5.5, and 5 for Fernando. Thomas Foss from Hastings is next. He will do a back 1.5 somersault with a half twist, free position.
1.5 somersault, 1/2 twist, free position 2.1.
Scores for Thomas, 5 across the board.
51-20.
Carter is next. Carter is from Simley with a forward 1 somersault, 1 twist in the free position. Scores for Carter, 3.5, 4.5, and 3.5. Charlie Jensen is next. His 5th dive is a reverse 1.5 somersault in the tuck position.
Tuck position 2.1.
Four, 3.5, and 4 for Charlie. Marios from Simley doing a forward 2.5 somersaults in the tuck position. It is dive 105C and has a degree of difficulty of 2.4, which I believe is our most difficult dive yet tonight. Completes all 2.5 rotation, 4, 4.5, and 5.5. That completes round 5.
Dive 104C, forward 2 somersault, tuck position 2.2.
We will start round 6 with Fernando. Forward 2 somersault in the tuck position. A little gasp from the crowd. He appears to be fine. 2, 3, and 4. Thomas Voss is doing an inward 1.5 somersault tuck position, 2.2 degree of difficulty. Divers take big risks that things like that can happen. They're learning new dives and trying new things. That was a nice dive by Thomas. 6, 6, and 5.5.
5 1/2. Up next is Carter. Dive 105C. Forward 2 1/2 somersault. Tuck position 2.4.
Right here. This is Carter Klein from Simley. Forward 2.5 somersault tuck position, 2.4 degree of difficulty. He gave it his absolute best. Unfortunately, there are times that he does not get a score on that because he actually did not complete the dive and all the elements and rotation of that dive. Charlie Jensen is the next diver, and he will do an inward 1.5 somersault in tuck position. I guess after conferring, in fact, he did complete the dive, and he did receive scores of 2, 2, and 2. So yes, now we are on to Charlie Jensen.
1.5 somersault, tuck position 2.2.
Charlie has a 7, a 6.5, and a 5.5. I believe that's the first 7 that we've seen tonight. And the final dive for tonight is Marios. He is also doing the most difficult dive, 404C, a degree of difficulty 2.8. It's an inward 2 somersaults in the tuck position. Scores were a 4, 5, and 4.5. That concludes diving. As I quickly look at the scoreboard, it looks like we have a score of 33 to 29. Not exactly sure how accurate that is, but we will get back to you as we come back from diving in a few minutes.
diving at this point.
Welcome back. We are live from the Hastings Middle School pool. We are ready for the second half of the swim meet. I was just told by the announcer that the score on the scoreboard, Hastings Raiders 40, Simley as the guest 38, that is a true score. Following diving, I can tell you the diving order: Marius from Simley was first, Charlie Jensen second from Hastings, Thomas Foss third from Hastings, Carter from Simley was fourth, and Fernando was fifth from Simley. So this is a close dual meet between the Hastings Raiders and the Simley Spartans. Our first event as we come back is the 100-yard butterfly. We'll start with the JV heat. 4 Simley swimmers in the pool.
We have all Simley swimmers in the pool. Lane number 2, Max Clifton.
Max Clifton in lane 2, Eric Das in lane 3.
And lane 5.
In lane 4, Jared Bahadong. And in lane 5, Elliot Tabor. All Simley swimmers. This is the 100 butterfly JV heat. 4 lengths of fly. If you are at all familiar with swimming, you know that the fly is a tough stroke. It's probably the one that makes swimmers tired the fastest. It has the most cardio and demand kind of on the cardio and the lungs, and it's tough. Both arms out of the water. These JV swimmers are doing a great job. It looks like Jared and Eric in lanes 4 and 3 are a little ahead of their teammates in lanes 2 and 5. And it is Jared Padong in lane 4. Followed by his teammate Eric Das in lane 3. Jared, I believe, is gonna get to the wall first. The butterfly has the butterfly arms and the dolphin kick. Elliot Tabor in lane 5 hits the wall, and Max up in lane 2 is finishing his race. Kudos to them for a very demanding 100 butterfly. And we'll move on to the varsity heat of the 100 fly. We do have a full pool of 6 swimmers, 3 from Hastings and 3 from
Up next is event 12, the
Simley.
butterfly varsity heat.
In lane 1 for Hastings is James Jensen. In lane 2 for Simley is Glenn Rubendahl. In lane 3 for Hastings is Adam Dewar. In lane 4 for Simley is Ethan Gregg. Lane 5, Hastings, Isaac Schulk. And in lane 6, William Foster from Simley. Captain Adam Dewar in lane 3 for the Raiders. This is his, kind of signature event. The 100 fly. Swimmers really work on their underwaters. You can see that Adam was the last swimmer to come up out of the water and actually start swimming. Underwater is as important as what happens kind of on top of the water. Turns and underwaters and all those technical aspects of the swim are really important. I'm just getting a breaking story that boys basketball is down 20-21 to Woodbury. 7 minutes left in the first half. Adam Adam was behind a little bit, Adam Dewar, and now is pulled ahead. So with 25 to go, it's Adam Dewar trying to hang on to the lead for Hastings, followed by Ethan Gregg in lane 4, and then a battle in the middle of the pool between Isaac Schulk in lane 5 and who is that? Glenn Rubendahl up in lane 2. Looks like Glenn's gonna out. Yes, Glenn out-touched him. James Jensen finishing in lane 1 and William Foster in lane 6. Adam wins that event with a time of 55.97. As these swimmers crawl out of the pool, we will move on to the 100-yard freestyle. Again, we will have 2 heats of the junior varsity, and they are full of Simley swimmers. Like I said earlier, Simley has many more swimmers on their team, and I'm glad they're all getting a chance to swim tonight. So 2 heats of the JV 100 freestyle.
13 is our 100-yard freestyle JV event. We have 2 teams in this event, and nothing but Simley swimmers in the pool. Lane 2, Johan Badon. Lane 3, Campbell Barrowman. Lane number 4, Christian Delago. Lane number 5, Isaiah Saeed.
This is the first of 2 JV heats. In lane 2, Johan Padong. In lane 2, Campbell Borrowman. In lane 4, Christian Delago. And in lane 5, Isaiah Saeed. These are all Simley swimmers. Yard freestyle is 4 lengths of free. And it looks like Campbell Burrowman will hit the wall first, and with a time I'm waiting for his time to pop up with a 1:21.81. Next for Simley will be Johan in lane 2, Christian Delago in lane 4, and Isaiah Saeed in lane 5. And we have the second heat of JV 100-yard freestyle, 4 lengths of freestyle.
All right, heat number 2.
Again, this is 5 swimmers from Simley. Nate Barkley in lane 2, Andrew Ernst in lane 3, Easton Callahan in lane 4, Jackson Wanick in lane 5, and Carter Bedell in lane 6.
And in lane 6 for Simley, Carter Bedell.
So the 50 free is obviously the fastest of the events and is a sprint, and the 100 free is a sprint as well. I asked a coach this morning how she coaches swimmers to swim the 100 free, and she said that the first 25, you know, you kind of go out at about 95%. You hold a little bit back to make sure you have enough to finish. second 50, or excuse me, the second 25 starts to hurt a little bit more as you start to kick a little more, and the last 50 is all out and just plain hurts. As they turn for their second 50, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Lane 4 is Easton Callahan, flips first, followed by Nate Barkley up in lane 2. And a close race with Jackson Wanick, Andrew Erst, and Carter Bedell in lane 6. A Simley sweep of the JV heat. And Easton hits the wall first with a time of 1:03.24. Just for reference, the 100 freestyle, the pool record is a 47:14, set back in 1994 by Thomas Melchow, who was from St. Thomas and went on to be an Olympian representing the United States. That is a fast 100.
Lane 6 for Simley, Hayden Guthrie.
And here is our varsity 100-yard freestyle. Cody Stewart from Hastings is in lane 1. Shyla Smolinski from Hastings, from Simley is in lane 2. Oliver Gergen from Hastings is in lane 3. Hunter Collins from Simley in lane 4. Taylor Schmaltz, Hastings lane 5. And Hayden Geffrey, Simley in lane 6. Into the water they go. This looks like it'll be an exciting race. Oliver and Hunter. Sometimes all I can tell is who's winning by whose butt comes up first when they do a flip turn, and there were 3 butts that were really close. Oliver, Hunter, and Taylor are close at the wall at 50 yards. I think we're in for a nice race here. They're gonna flip for home. Up goes Oliver, followed by Taylor Schmaltz and Hunter Collins. Let's see if Hastings can hang on for a 1-2 finish. It looks like they will. Oliver, Taylor, Hunter Collins. Lane 2 finished in 4th. That is Shyla Smolinski. Cody Stewart in lane 1 for Hastings. Nicely done in a time of 52:62. Not too shabby.
Right, if we can get our
52:62 and 52:87. Nice 1-2 punch for Hastings. Our next event is the longest event for the night and in the high school swim program, the 500-yard freestyle. That is 20 lengths, 10 laps, 20 lengths. It's long enough that swimmers have a teammate that will count the lengths for them. You'll see them at the far end of the pool once the event gets going. We have just a varsity heat of this with 6 swimmers. Liam Edel from Hastings in lane 1. Colin Iverson from Simley in lane 2. Tristan Herbst, Hastings swimmer in lane 3. John Tabor from Simley in lane 4. Isaac Schulk, Hastings in lane 5. And Adam Pizimmer from Simley in lane 6. Tristan, freshman from Hastings, loves the 500. He is a distance swimmer. There's a lot of strategy involved in a 500. It is a long race. It's the longest in the high school, Minnesota State high school program, as well as most high school programs. In the world of swimming, it's actually not that long. There is the 1,000, there's the 800, there's the 1650, which is the mile. So those are very long races, but this will take Tristan just about 5 minutes. It's great to have teammates cheering each other on. Tristan's split is a 30-34. He'll want to try to hold that for every 25. Excuse me, for every 50. Oops. So the teammates doing the cards at the far end of the pool help the athlete know what length they're on. Their minds can kind of wander and lose count. It's also a way for coaches to communicate with the swimmer in the water. If the card is upside down, most all the time the coach is communicating go faster. So if your cards are upside down and your 5 is upside down, then you know you're supposed to go faster. So Tristan is nearing 9 lengths, followed by John Tabor in lane 4. And a quick note from boys basketball, Hastings Raiders down 41-32 at the half, and if I remember correctly, they are playing Woodbury. So another sports update during this long event. Tristan is halfway through, followed by Hunter Collins and Taylor wait, I'm sorry, wrong. He is followed by John Tabor in lane 4 and Isaac Schulk from Hastings in lane 5. John Tabor from Simley is a senior. So is his teammate Aiden Zimmer in lane 6. Actually, all 3 swimmers from Simley are seniors. And they're relatively young swimmers of a freshman and 2 10th graders for Hastings. Isaac Schulk is in 10th grade and Liam Edel is in 10th grade as well. And Tristan is a 9th grade, a freshman at the high school. 32-23 is his split at 14 lengths. A lot of strategy involved. Tristan has gone out fast and remained in the lead. That is definitely one way to do it. Sometimes you get a swimming partner kind of right next to you to help push. Sometimes you're on your own. And a 500 swimmer's favorite noise is the bell if it's over their lap. Or excuse me, their lane, meaning they're in the lead and this is their final 50. Tristan is just finishing up, and the race is on in the middle of the pool. That is for sure. Hunter Collins is being chased by John Tabor is being chased by Isaac Schulk. We'll see. Oh, very, very close finish. John Tabor from Simley in second and Isaac Schulk third in lane 5. And 3 swimmers left to finish their 500. So a 5:12 for Tristan, a 5:28.29, followed by a 5:28.64. And into the wall are Adam Pizimmer and Colin Iverson for Simley, and Liam Edel from Hastings. In lane 1, just has a 25 left.
Our next event is the 200-yard freestyle relay. This is our junior varsity heat. We have Simley in lanes 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, and we're moving on to
Lane 3 for Simley,
the 200-yard freestyle relay. So every swimmer, 4 swimmers, each of them swim a 50 of freestyle. This is the JV heat. We have 3 lanes of Simley swimmers: Fernando Madrid Pina, Isaiah Sayed, Christian Delago, and Sean Larson in lane 3 for Simley. Max Clifton, Jared Padong, Johan Padong, and Eric Das in lane 4 for Simley. And in lane 5 for Simley, Eli Wells, Mason Wickner, Jacob Hanel, and Alec Schlosser. Sorry, Alec. This is the 3rd swimmer in the pool for each of the Simley teams. And the final swimmer for Simley The final swimmers are Eric Doss in lane 4, Sean Larson up in lane 3, and Alex Schlosser in lane 5. Relays are really fun for swimmers. It's fun to, compete with your teammates. Relays are full of quote-unquote rules for swimming, one of which is the exchange of swimmers. Obviously, like running, there's not a baton that swimmers exchange, so they have to time it so that the hands of the swimmer in the water need to touch the wall before the toes of the swimmer on the blocks can leave the blocks. So your body could be moving forward quite a bit before your toes would leave the block, and that timing is really crucial as you work with your teammates on real relay timing. So this is the varsity. Varsity 200 freestyle relay. We have 5 teams. Simley in lane 2, Shilas Molinska, Glenn Rubendahl, Carter Klein, and Nate Barkley. In lane 3 for Hastings, Isaac Schulp, Charlie Jensen, Taylor Schmaltz, and Tristan Herbst. In lane 4 for Simley, Hunter Collins, Lucas McGonigal, William Foster, and John Tabor. In lane 5 for Hastings, Thomas Foss, Tyler Wood, Sammy Green, and Garrett Watterson. And in lane 6 for Simley, Colin Momper, Marius Makar, Caden Carrier, and Jackson Wanek. So this, I believe, is the 3rd swimmer getting ready to go in the water. So 3rd from Simley in lane 4 is William Foster. 3rd for Hastings in lane 3 is Taylor Schmaltz. Taylor had a fabulous start and is taking over the lead. Here we go for the 4th swimmer in the relay, Tristan Herbst for Hastings, and John Tabor. Both of these swimmers just swam the 500, so they're probably a little tired, but sometimes the 500 leaves them adrenaline ready for the 200 free relay, and it looks like John Tabor has a little left and out touches Tristan Herbst. And we have the Simley team in lane 2 taking 3rd place, followed by the Hastings team in lane 5 for 4th, and Simley in lane 6 comes in 5th place. Nice swim, gentlemen. Always a fun relay.
We did have a disqualification in that event. Lane number 6 for Simley was disqualified.
Sadly, the announcer was just announcing that lane 6 for Simley was disqualified, which could be for a couple things, but probably the starts between the exchanges between the swimmers. And we want to say thank you, and a special thank you to our sponsor, the Hastings Public House, Memories Made Local. Go see them. They have great food. They are great fans of all things Hastings, and certainly all things HCTV sports. Our next event will be the 100-yard backstroke. 4 lengths of backstroke. We'll start with 2 JV heats. And once again, has been the theme tonight, both heats will be all Simley swimmers. We'll start with 5 swimmers in this heat. Mason Wickner in lane 2 for Simley, Sean Larson in lane 3 for Simley, Carter Bedell in lane 4 for Simley, Campbell Borrowman in lane 5 for Simley, and Brian Madrid Pina in lane 6 for Simley. Four lengths of the backstroke. It looks like Carter Bedell will hit the wall at the 50 mark first. Flips over, does a flip turn, and heads back towards the other end of the pool. He is closely followed by his teammates Campbell Borrowman and Brian Madrid Pina in lanes 5 and 6. Obviously, backstroke, you can't really see where you're going. You're on your back. So the flags that drape across the pool that say Hastings Raiders and are blue and yellow are for backstrokers. So as a swimmer works on their backstroke, they figure out how many strokes it is from the flags to the wall, and they then can time their finish or their flip turn. And with the backstroke, you can take one stroke forward as you come into the wall if you're going to turn and continue again doing the backstroke. So they time how they get to the wall, flip over, do one arm stroke forward, and need to turn for the continuation of the race. And backstroke is a good place to have backup timers because it's easy for the hand to miss the wall and the elbow to kind of even go over the edge of the pool. That was our first of 2 heats of JV backstroke. The officials are giving a few hints and coaching to the new swimmers in this JV heat of the backstroke. So our second heat.
Heat 2 of our junior varsity 100 backstroke.
There are 6 swimmers.
Lane number 1, Miles Anderson. Lane 2,
Maybe there's only 5 swimmers. I'm wrong, and I'm mistaken. 5 Simley swimmers. In lane 1, Miles Anderson. In lane 2, Aiden Pizimmer. In lane 3, Caden Carrier. In lane 4, Andrew Ernst. And in 5, Colin Iverson. You can see for the backstroke, swimmers get into the water. There is a special bar kind of designed underneath the starting block. That's the backstroke bar. And you put your hands on the bar, your feet up on the wall, get yourself positioned. The starter says, you know, set. Swimmers pull themselves as far out of the water as they can, and the start is done by trying to go up and over the water, arching the back up and over the water and diving in for the acceleration off the wall and a little air time instead of water time that causes more resistance. It's a pretty technical start, and swimmers obviously work on starts and turns a lot. So it looks like Aiden Pizimmer in lane 2 is leading, followed by teammates Caden in lane 3 and Colin in lane 5. Then next we would have Andrew Ernst in 4 and Miles Anderson in lane 1. Minnesota State swimming kind of rules are for swimmers to stay in the water until everyone finishes, and then they climb out of the water. So they stay in their lane, catch their breath, and then pull themselves out when all swimmers have finished. And now we will move on to the varsity backstroke, 100-yard backstroke. 6 swimmers. Obviously 3 from Hastings and 3 from Simley. The 100-yard backstroke. In lane 1 for Hastings is Kenrick O'Donnell. In lane 2 from Simley is Christian Jack. In lane 3 for Hastings is Adam Dewar. In lane 4 for Simley, Vincent Evangelista. In lane 5 for Hastings is Cody Stewart. And in lane 6 for Simley is Hayden Geffrey. We want to give a shout out for our next live broadcast, which will be on, it will be girls hockey versus Egan, 7:30 on Thursday. Hastings Civic Arena, HCTV will bring you that live game. Should be a great night. Kids are done with school. They'll pack the stands to cheer on the girls hockey team versus Egan. Here we go for the 100 backstroke. Lane 3, Adam Dewar, a strong start. He turns, followed by 2 Simley swimmers closely. Vincent and Christian. It's fun to see so many teammates at the far end cheering on for this race. Adam Dewar continues to lead in lane 3, followed by Vincent Evangelista and Christian Jack from Simley in lanes 4 and 2, followed by Hayden and Cody Stewart in lane 5 and Kenrick O'Donnell in lane 1 for Hastings. So Adam finishes in a 1:02.57. And the Simley swimmers are super close with a 1:06.57 and a 1:06.77. We are into a couple of the final events of this swim meet. We have the 100 the 100 breaststroke next. We'll have a junior varsity and a varsity heat.
Event 21, this is our 100-yard breaststroke JV event. We have one heat, all Simley.
JV swimmers tonight are all all Simley swimmers. We have Johan Padong in lane 2, Eli Wells in lane 3, Jacob Hanel in lane 4, and Douglas Johnson in lane 5. 4 lengths breaststroke. You can hear a lot of background noise. These are teammates cheering on their swimmers in the water. Unlike a lot of the other strokes, the breaststroke, your head, both ears, even if they have a cap on, do come out of the water and you can hear a little bit better. So sometimes you hear a rhythmic cheering as breaststrokers' heads come out of the water, maybe a reach or a go, to keep them motivated to swim fast. Looks like lane 5, Douglas Johnson is leading this event for his Simley teammates. Eli Wells in lane 3, followed by Jacob Hanel and Johan Padong. Breaststroke is personally one of my favorite strokes to watch. Sometimes people call it the rest stroke, but it is anything in competitive swimming, anything but restful. In fact, it is technically the hardest stroke to put together. Pull, breathe, kick, glide. As you pull your head up to breathe, it's basically putting on the brakes with your chest as you come out of the water. So the timing of a pull, breathe, kick, glide to keep moving forward gracefully is very important and very technical to get right. So when someone gets it right, it is beautiful to watch. And the variety of technique in the breaststroke is pretty severe, meaning there's a lot of different ways people swim it. Some look incredibly graceful, some look a little more bobbish, up and down. Some move their head a lot, some keep it very straight and close to the water. JV swimmers are going to crawl out, and we'll move on to the varsity. 100-yard breaststroke.
Event 22 is the 100-yard breaststroke varsity.
So we have 6 swimmers for the varsity race. Garrett Watterson for Hastings in lane 1. Lucas McGonigal in lane 2 for Simley. Charlie Jensen for Hastings in lane 3. Hunter Collins, Simley in lane 4. Tyler Wood, Hastings in lane 5. And Colin Mumper in lane 6 for Simley. Charlie Jensen for Hastings is primarily a diver, but he has a long history of swimming. He grew up swimming for years, and he was known to be a great breaststroker, so it's great to have him. Here they go. 4 lengths breaststroke. Hunter Collins for Simley is the last to come up out of the water. He has strong underwaters. He is followed by his teammate Lucas, and Charlie Jensen is right in there with them, as well as Garrett and Tyler. This is a fun race to watch. Hunter Collins clearly hits the wall first, has almost open water between Hunter and his teammate Lucas, and Charlie Jensen is hanging in there. They both have really long arms and smooth strokes. Lucas and Charlie are going to battle it for the last 25. We'll see who gets to the wall. Charlie Jensen is showing his years of breaststroke right now as he is pulling ahead slightly, and Hunter Collins clearly wins the race, followed by Charlie and Lucas, with a nice race from Garrett Watterson and Tyler Wood and Colin. Nice race. Time for Hunter is a 1:08.32. The final event tonight is the 400-yard freestyle relay, and there's a JV heat as well as a varsity heat. A little extra noise from the crowd as the score is 86-86. Often in swim meets, it comes down to the last event. And so this the last relay, the varsity 400-yard freestyle, will determine the winner of this battle in the pool tonight. But first we have the junior varsity 100-yard freestyle relay, 400-yard freestyle relay. Each swimmer swims a 100, which is 4 lengths of the pool. For the JV heat, as been the pattern tonight, it is 5 Simley teams. I will go through their names after they get started here. They're trying to get themselves a little bit organized. That's a lot of bodies to say what lane and what position in the relay they swim. One of the cameras has an excellent angle to see the exchange between the swimmer's start, or the swimmer in the water, and the swimmer coming into the on the starting blocks. You can try to judge if a team should be disqualified or not for a relay exchange. Okay, in the pool, we have in lane 1 for Simley, Brian Madrid Pina, Miles Anderson, Jared Padong, and Alex Slossler. In lane 3 for Simley, Douglas Johnson, Andrew Ernst, Nate Barkley, and Eli Wells. In lane 4 for Simley, Elliot Tabor, Mason Wickner, Johan Padong, and Jacob Hanel. In lane 5 for Simley, Max Clifton, Carter Bedell, Fernando Madrid Pina, and Isaiah Syed. And in lane 6 for Simley, Marius Makar, Sean Larson, Christian Delago, and Campbell Borrowman. Right now, the first swimmer in the lead for Simley is in lane 6, and that's Marius Makar. Sean Larson will follow him in lane 6. Then we have teams bunched up in the middle. Into the wall goes Brian, Douglas, and Elliot. As the first swimmer, they get into the wall, and the next swimmers are Miles in lane 2, Andrew in lane 3, Mason in lane 4. Swimmers, when they swim freestyle, they obviously breathe on one side or the other side, their right side or their left side, and they can tell, depending on what side they're breathing on, where the person in the lane is next to them. Sometimes they can tell, sometimes they can't, depending on the race and the side they like to breathe on. But it does give them a chance to see where they are in this race. The third swimmers are about to enter their water. This will be Jared Padong in lane 2 and Nate Barkley in lane 3. I think into the water goes Christian Delago in lane 6 and Fernando Madrid Pina in lane 5. It's fun to see Simley have such a kind of a wide variety of swimmers and ages, from 7th graders to 12th graders, everyone cheering each other on. They are obviously a team that is building. Fourth swimmers are getting ready. Eli Wells in lane 3. Alex Schlosser in lane 2. I believe the final swimmer for Simley is diving in lane 6, and that's Campbell Borrowman. I apologize, I was wrong. There was one more swimmer for Simley in lane 4. The final swimmer just dove in, and that is Jacob Hamel. Simley teams in lane 2 and 3 finished the race really close. 5:17.91 and 5:20.04. Cheering on Jacob as he is gonna flip for home in his last 25. It's always great to have a whole team behind you cheering you on. Nice job, JV swimmers. That was a great race. And we will complete the meet and thus decide the winner of this dual meet with the 400-yard freestyle relay. There's a lot of excitement here, and the starter is trying to get everyone to, or the announcer is trying to get everyone to be quiet so that we can start this event. There are 5 teams to swim this event. 3 from Simley and 2 from Hastings. In lane 2 for Simley, Shilas Molinsky, Glenn Rubendahl, Vincent Evangelista, and Hayden Geffrey. In lane 3 for Hastings, Tristan Herbst, Adam Dewart, Taylor Schmaltz, and Oliver Gergen. In lane 4 for Simley, Ethan Gregg, John Tabor, Lucas McGonigal, and Christian Jack. In lane 5 for Hastings, Sammy Green, Cody Stewart, Kenrick O'Donnell, and Alex Culp. And in lane 6 for Simley, Aiden Zimmer, Colin Everson, Caden Carrier, and Easton Callahan. The first swimmers, Tristan Herbst and Ethan Gregg, are very close as they're finishing up their 100, getting ready for the second swimmers. The second swimmers are on the block. Tristan does. Nope. I was wrong. I thought Tristan got there first, and he didn't. Adam Dewar's in the water, as well as John Tabor They'll battle this 100 out. Looks like Simley in lane 2 with Glenn Rubendahl is ahead of Simley in lane 6. Colin Iverson, followed by Cody Stewart for Hastings in lane 5. A close race here as Adam and John get to the wall. You don't get a lot closer than that. Here comes John. He's turning it on just a little bit more. His kick as strong as he comes to the wall. And here goes Taylor Schmaltz and Lucas McGonigal into the water for their battle of the 100. Taylor has a very smooth stroke. He has grown a lot in the last year. Is taller, stronger, and I think faster. He has pulled ahead just a little bit from Lucas McGonigal. We'll see how much of a lead he can give to Oliver Gergen. They are definitely swimming like they know that the meet is on the line. Mathematically, I believe Hastings to win does have to win this event. They do. And into the water are the final swimmers. Oliver Gergen for Hastings and Christian Jack. Taylor did a great job and gave them a nice lead. The final swimmers for the other teams are diving in as well. The teams are definitely cheering as Oliver will get to the wall first, followed by Jack Christian for Simley in second place for the relay. So we have figure out what happens here. The final swimmers in the water for Simley. In lane 2 is Hayden. In lane 5 for Hastings is Alex. And in lane 6 for Simley is Easton. That was a fun relay to watch. My apologies, the Hastings team does have one more 50. Alex has a 25 left. Alex is new to swimming as a 7th grader, or at least new to the Raiders team. He's not a name I'm familiar with, so I'm thinking he's new to swimming and is doing a great job. So Hastings gets first place and 5th place, and Simley gets 2, 3, and 4. Lots of high fives and celebration. We are waiting for final scores. Swimmers go and check in with their coaches to see their individual split times and the results for the swim meet.
Hastings Raiders 94, Simley 92.
Wow, Hastings Raiders 94, Simley Spartans 92. Hastings pulls it off. What a great meet. I want to thank the crew here at HCTV. Credits, we have Hunter Pinky, the producer and director. I'm Julie Urban. I'm your announcer tonight. Camera operators, Ian Andersick and Max Slocum. And graphics by the one and only Hunter Pinky. Thanks again for joining us. We are grateful. Have a good night.